I often get asked by people, whether it's friends or family, hey, I'm looking at buying a watch. What should I get? Where do I start? And this is my favorite thing. There's nothing like buying your first watch. It's fun, it's exciting, but it can also be overwhelming with so many options and so many directions that you could go. In this video, I'm gonna cover watches that I've recommended to people that are new to watches and explain the reasoning behind my picks. Before I get into which watches I chose, I do want to explain what I was looking for when developing a list like this. If this is gonna be somebody's first and only watch, I definitely wanna have something that can be versatile, dress it up, dress it down. I want it to have a decent water resistance, at least 100 meters typically. And lastly, I wanted it to be able to hold up to daily wear and tear and heavy use. I'm a big fan of Microbrands, but I'm also gonna discuss mainstream brands because I think starting with mainstream brands can very much be a great gateway into watch enthusiasm. I think picking a brand that a lot of people are familiar with will very much help a new enthusiast kind of take roots in the community and have the opportunity to speak more with other people that are into watches. If you buy an obscure micro brand, people might not recognize it as much, but if you pick up something like a Seiko or a Casio or a Citizen, you're very much more likely to be able to meet other people that have experienced those watches and have opinions about them and want to discuss that with you. The first watch I want to get into is the Casio Duro. The Casio Duro is listed on Amazon right now for $45. It might be the beater watch of all beater watches. It's a 44mm case, which is on the big side, but it has ample water resistance and a quartz movement to make sure that it's a set it and forget it type watch. It'll hold up to absolutely everything you throw at it through daily use, and while it may not be the best suited for more formal events, it can do anything else. This example is a Casio Duro that I gifted to a buddy of mine, and I threw on the Islander bracelet. It's an oyster style bracelet that replaces the rubber strap that comes with the watch. And while the bracelet is more than the watch itself at $60, it absolutely elevates the wearing experience. All in, you're at about $100, $110 for a watch that punches well above its weight class and is very much comparable to watches in the $200 to $300 price range. I recommend this watch because it's a low entry point into watch enthusiasm. Most people can part with $50, and there's a variety of options that you can choose from. And there is such a strong community behind the Casio Duro. Go check out Duro Gang on Reddit if you want to see more pictures and configurations of how other people are wearing their Casio Duros. No entry-level list would be complete without Seiko, specifically Seiko 5s. I'm going to cover the Seiko SRPE51, which is the Dress KX that I have. It's the gray dial version, and the thing that I love about this watch is it's one of the most versatile watches you can wear, period. You can absolutely wear it casually, but it also dresses up super nice. You might stop short of wearing this to a black tie event, but pretty much every other circumstance it'd be well suited for. You have to have Seiko on a list like this because so many watch nerds started with Seiko, and it's going to be a great kicking off point for any conversation that you have with an enthusiast at any level. Seiko is Seiko, and it's going to be respected. There is some fair criticism about how Seiko has moved up range in price point in recent years and maybe hasn't brought the specs along to justify those price increases. But either way, you can find these watches for well below retail, and I think that's the big kicking factor here. At MSRP, is it super compelling? I don't know. But if you can get an SRPE for around $200, I think it makes a ton of sense, especially compared to what the competition would be in that price range. Next on the list is the Citizen Tsuyosa. So we're carrying the theme on of Japanese affordable entry-level watchmaking here. And the Citizen Tsuyosa is a great entry-level piece. It retails at $450, but you can find those well under $300. It's a 40mm case diameter with 40 hours of power reserve and a sapphire crystal, which you don't often find at this price point. It is definitely derivative of Rolex design language in that the dial looks like an oyster, perpetual, or a date just, and the bracelet looks like a day-date president bracelet. The integrated sports watch trend has been super popular the last several years, and I think anybody looking for an entry-level watch that can kind of do it all, the Citizen Tsuyosa should definitely be in the conversation. All right, continuing the trend with integrated sports watches, yes, the Tissot PRX is on this list. And it is a very popular watch, and I understand the hype has just run rampant, particularly when it first came out. But I think it still holds up, and people are still buying them, and it's for good reason. You know, the quartz model comes in at $415, and the automatic version comes in a little under $800. You can also probably find these on sale, but I think having the option between the more affordable quartz option and the automatic option, you can really go with whichever version of the PRX that makes the most sense for your lifestyle. The PRX absolutely has to be on the short list for new enthusiasts getting into watches. It's an incredibly popular style, it wears super well, and it gets you into the Powermatic 80 movement at a decent price, especially if you can find it on sale. I think I would definitely opt for the automatic version. I do prefer automatic in general, but also I think that waffle dial is leagues above the quartz counterpart, and that would be the move for me. Next on the list is the Hamilton Khaki Field, and Hamilton is such a fun entry point into watchmaking because Hamilton is the movie watch. Hamilton's an American-founded company that transitioned to Swiss ownership in 1969 and has been in over 500 movies since the 1930s. The most famous modern example is Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, in which the Hamilton Khaki Field Murph is arguably as important as many of the characters in the story. So for those of you that love film and love watches, this seems like a great nexus to get into watch enthusiasm. And Hamilton makes a great watch. I mean, you're gonna have the water resistance for a storied field watch company, and it's gonna hold up to anything you throw at it. The Murph in particular will look great dressed up with a cathedral handset. You can keep it on a leather strap, or you can put it on a NATO, and it even comes with a bracelet option now. It comes in either the 42mm or 38mm option. I think the 38mm will fit most wrists better than the 42 and makes a little bit more sense for the field watch category. It also gives you an open case back to the Hamilton H10 movement, which I know there are many watch snobs out there that will scoff at an open case back for an affordable watch that doesn't necessarily have anything to show off in that price range. But I think that it's something that I appreciated on my first Seiko 5, being able to see the rotor move and the balance wheel and the escapement and everything working on the watch, and it really got me more interested into watches. So I think, setting the snobbery aside, it makes a ton of sense to have an open case back on a watch like this, especially for the price point. Now for my favorite part, we get to move on to Microbrands. I'm a big Microbrand fan. I have, I think, 4 of them. I have 2 Traskas, I have a Zelos, I have a Christopher Ward. And the thing I love about Microbrands is they are the local mom and pop equivalent of watchmaking. So these brands are founded by people that are very enthusiastic about watches, and they produce a product that they're passionate about. It's not a corporation looking to meet a bottom line, looking to move a ton of units. This is very much about the end product and about taking the styling and aesthetic that the owners are passionate about and really care about, and translating that into a contemporary product that you can buy and wear and enjoy. The first brand I love to recommend is Traska, particularly the Traska Venturer GMT. So this GMT watch comes in at $665, and it is amazing in terms of the specifications, the wearing experience, everything. It checks all the boxes and it looks great doing it. One of the really cool things about all Traska watches is that they subject their cases and bracelets to a stainless steel hardening treatment that results in the steel being 5 times harder than standard stainless steel. This means that Traska watches are incredibly tough to scratch. So this is my, if you know, you know. These are a great option to pick up secondhand because they look brand new. You can have somebody wear this watch, one of these watches, for a couple of years and list it online for sale, whether it's on Reddit or eBay, and you'll get it in hand and be like, wow, this looks like it just rolled off the assembly line, right? So that's one thing that I really love, is there's great value in Traska, especially if you buy them used. And it also wears incredibly well. It's one of the thinnest GMTs that you can buy on the market. It's only 9.75 millimeters thick, which means it wears like a dream. It slides under the cuff, you forget it's there. The case diameter is 38.5 millimeters, so it really strikes like that middle ground on exactly what I would look for typically in a case size. It's not too big, it's not too small, it'll fit most wrist sizes. The Venturer GMT is my favorite GMT watch under $1,000. I really kind of slept on Henry Archer for a while. It wasn't until recently that I dug into the brand and started to better understand what they were doing and what they were about. So Henry Archer is taking vintage style templates and going with just a super contemporary aesthetic finish to a lot of these watches. So they're throwing on things like, textured pattern dials that are, really incredible looking. And they're going with indices and minute hash marks and little details like that deviate from what you would typically expect from a traditional vintage watch and give it this really fun modern flair that kind of combines in a package that you just don't really see very often. I mean, you see vintage aesthetic takes all the time, but to take that vintage aesthetic and then go a step beyond and make it something new and interesting is what I really enjoy about Henry Archer. I got to handle the Vesterhaven, and it exceeded all expectations. I think it comes in at about $500. This was the 38mm version. The bracelet on it was killer. The dial looks amazing. And I got one of my favorite photos I've gotten of watches this year. Boom, love it. And I just couldn't be happier with it. A buddy of mine picked it up and he let me spend some time with it, and I just had a blast. I don't know if I'm late to the Henry Archer party or if I'm just catching them on the come up, but either way, they're only going to get bigger from here. Last on my list is Zelos. I have a soft spot for Zelos. Zelos is funky and bold and wild. They do all these really crazy things that I enjoy and appreciate so much. I will acknowledge that most of their watches are not for me, but the ones that are absolutely hit the sweet spot. I have the Zelos Mako, and it's a 40mm dive watch, and it's an absolute spec monster. It comes with a ceramic bezel, 300 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal. It has a really cool engraved or embossed case back with the Mako shark on it, and on-the-fly micro adjust on the clasp. It checks the box for every single spec that you would want in a watch, and it comes in at only $500. I picked mine up used for $400 off of forums a couple of years ago. And the thing that I really love about mine is it's a full lume dial. Zelos in general pays a ton of attention to lume. That's like one of their biggest things is you buy a Zelos, the lume is gonna be tight. So on this watch, the entire dial is loomed, the bezel is loomed, the crown, the sign on the crown is loomed. It's crazy. It's so cool. And it just appeals to my inner child where something glows in the dark and it makes me happy. And that's what this watch does for me. Collecting is supposed to be fun, and sometimes I feel like that gets lost in the watch snobbery, but Zelos absolutely delivers on fun. So there it is, my list of watches that I think are a great starting place for people just getting into watches. But above all else, I tell people, buy what you like. Don't buy what I like or what you think somebody else is gonna like or what the internet likes. Buy what you like, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. This thing wouldn't be as fun if everybody was buying the same watch because, it's hype or, it's going to get you the attention that you want. At the end of the day, it's an expression of yourself. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of watch enthusiasm is understanding why a person made that choice to pick that watch, throw it on their wrist. And now I get to ask them about it and they get to share their feelings and their excitement about something that they probably took a ton of time deciding on. So, make sure that you stick to that and you will not go wrong in the watch community. If you like this video, please take a look at some of my other videos. I have reviews on my page for the Zelos Mako. I have the Citizen Tsuyosa, as well as my Traska Venturer Meteorite Limited Edition GMT. So check those out. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment, do all the things. Push all the buttons. I'm a small channel that's really just getting started. So anything that you do to engage with my video is gonna help me a ton. And I want to keep making these. So let's make it worth my time. And I would love to keep producing these if there's an audience there for it. So thank you so much. Again, my name's Derek and this is This on Wrist. See you on the next one.